Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another action-packed episode of According to Kaz Queen. And as always, I am Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And we want to welcome you guys out to this little podcast of ours. These are conversations that happen between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home that we bring to you guys in public, if you will, for you to laugh, for you to be introspective, for you to think, for you to talk. But most of all, we want to open the lines of conversation between men and women, friends and lovers, friends and enemies, husbands and wives.
Everybody.
Boyfriends and girlfriends, everybody, all that good stuff. Of course, we are on all streaming services. All right, make sure you check us out on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Amazon Music, and we are on Black with No Chaser Radio. So make sure you are downloading the Black with No Chaser app. That's bwncradio.com. All right, BWNC Radio. On the Google Play Store and in the iTunes Store, Black with No Chaser Radio. Make sure you check us out there every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We got some bangers for you on there. There's a lot of good podcasts on there as well, man. So make sure you're checking out Black with No Chaser, bwncApp.com, of course. And if you prefer to see our bright, shiny faces, as a lot of you have, make sure that you go to the YouTube channel. You know what to do. Boom, right there. All right. Make sure that you subscribe and like that YouTube page right there. All right. Go to that YouTube channel. If you're listening to us, that's youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. All right. youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. You can also put According to Kaz Queen in the search engine and just subscribe to their page and like it. Make sure you hit the little bell so that you can get the notifications. Of course, we're inching closer to 1,000 subscribers, man, and we appreciate you guys for continuing to ride along with us. And as always, the show is brought to you by the Kundi Collective. All right, www.kundicollective.com. You see it, Little Africa right there. This is one of the designs that you can get on the website. All right, shouts out to everybody that ordered on last week. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be sending some orders out this week. For some of you who have got some orders off of the website. Got some new designs coming up. My wife has hit me in the inbox with some new designs. So we're going to see what those do. She's coming up with new designs, and she puts me to work in the sweatshop when she comes up with these designs. So www.kundicollective.com, www.kundicollective.com. Get you a t-shirt, man. And we really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that has been commenting and coming under the YouTube page, man, commenting on social media. We appreciate it. You know, we're going to keep churning out this content, man. It's something that we love to do, and we're going to keep doing it. So want to get right into it. I was really upset as a father, and I sent this to you. You'd already seen it, so I want to start off, talking about this. First of all, for those of you that have been on social media, I saw this video that R&B singer Brian McKnight,
legendary R&B singer.
Yeah,
he's legendary now. You can't take that from him.
That's debatable. He's an R&B singer. You know what I'm saying? He's well known. You may know him from the engagement episode of Martin, where he sang to Gina. I think that might have been the highlight of his career for me.
Oh my God. Are you kidding?
This guy's a terrible, terrible human being. I'm not going to give him any credit past that. But if you have seen the video, recently, there was a post that he put up. He just had a new baby with his current wife. And he named that baby after him, his namesake, Brian McKnight. But, incidentally, this gentleman already has a junior, a Brian McKnight, that has his namesake, that is grown, that, we are all aware of. He has grown kids that he has. They've had their back and forth as parents and Grown kids often do. I can attest to that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I know that, on one side, he says the kids are lazy and they're trying to live off his name and they're trying to live off his money and they don't want to work and forge their own way in the world. And they, of course, say that, he abandoned them and he was never around and he was never really a father. So it's always two sides to these stories. But as it were, that was weeks ago, as a matter of fact. But he decided that he had to double down and he put this video out talking about, how basically he has no relationship with his older kids. He said it's a mutual thing between him and his older kids. His baby that he just had, he wants that baby to know that he is his namesake, and he has relieved himself of his fatherly duties to his grown kids. And it was really smug, a really cocky. I just really don't have the words for it. I know you saw it as well, but as a father of grown kids, 3 of them, as a matter of fact, I just got really upset watching it because I can't fathom someone being that much of a shit human being to do what he's doing and do it in the manner that he's doing it. New marriage, new kids notwithstanding, regardless of what this issue has been with your kids. But, I digress. I'm going to let you kind of speak on it because you saw it as well before I sent to you, right?
So, I'm a Brian McKnight fan. I'm a fan of Brian McKnight's voice. I'll put it like that. Mm-hmm. I think he is a very good vocalist. I like his voice. This is really new for me. Like, this is new information. I don't recall a time where Brian McKnight has been in anything controversial up to this point, and it would be, it's sad to see that what he gets in the news for as far as controversy goes would be his relationship with his children. So I have a few things that I've been contemplating about this. The first thing is you don't get to take back the name, sir. You've given the name, the junior, the part 2, you've given that name to a son already. Mm-hmm. The audacity to think that you can just erase that and give it to a new child is ridiculous. Like, it's almost like something may not be clicking in your brain mentally to think that you can just erase that whole thing. At one point,
that's A.
Yeah, that's A. At one point, this young man, baby of yours, was going to be your a part of your legacy, what you leave on the earth. Right. He's still here. He still has your DNA. You are still his father. You don't get to erase that because now y'all are estranged. Sorry. That's just not how it works. Right. Secondly, I can't get away from this feeling underneath, this sentiment that these kids that you had that with the black woman. Yep, y'all know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. Those kids, bump them, I'm moving on. Now I'm better because I got a white wife.
That's B.
And I'm making mixed children.
B.
These are the kids that I want to have or to participate in, be a part of.
There you go.
My legacy.
Okay.
That's
B.
Is damaging beyond anything I can imagine. And true, you're right. We don't know how they became estranged. We don't know. He said he didn't abandon them, but they are mutually estranged. Okay, we get that. That's fine.
He changed his will. He said
he changed his will the next day. There's a whole lot of petty that's happening here. Whole lot of petty. Mm-hmm. And I just have a really bad gut feeling deep in my spirit about this. And I really don't like it because it feels like he thinks now that I have a white woman and some mixed children, now I have made it. Now I have a real legacy. That is off-putting, to say the least.
You know what else? I'm going to say this, and this might sound crazy. He also, I think, has handsome privilege.
Come on. Talk about it.
Because these are acts of a person who feels like they look so good that they're able to do whatever the hell it is that they want to do. I can just start over. because I look so good. I can do anything. I don't have to put up with anything. I'm now married to this other woman right here who he probably thinks looks better than his previous wife.
He's achieved.
Yeah, he has achieved this level of attractiveness. And now my entire family is attractive because I have these mixed kids and this white wife. And he moves and maneuvers. And you can look at the video and you can watch the video and just read the body language. And it just reads of a dude that just really thinks that he is the cat's meow.
It's the R&B arrogance.
The R&B arrogance that exists. The
That's what it
R&B
is.
singer arrogance of this. And there's a lot of people who came under my post and, I kind of, on Twitter, folks just really be going in. But, there were a lot of people that said that they have had personal interactions with Brian McKnight, ran into him here, there, maybe at a meet and greet, maybe at a show, ran into him, at any various numbers of places. And they said that he came across as being very arrogant.
I think that over the years, I don't think he started off this way. I think
or maybe
that
we just didn't know who the real Brian McKnight was.
Maybe. Or maybe he's just gotten more and more arrogant over the years. Because this display that he's doing with his children and the amount of petty that he's presenting. Because mind you, his video came weeks after this all took place. He could have just let this thing ride. Mm-hmm. He came on social media to make sure that we knew that he changed his will. Mm-hmm. That's petty.
And that he wanted this new baby
to be his legacy.
He wants this baby to know, and I quote, that he is his legacy. He made that known.
Yeah.
The amount of petty that that's that pretty handsome privilege. Somebody who has been told their entire life that they look good and have had women just fawning all over them. I even had somebody who commented, I'm not going to name them and say who they were, but they say that they worked, there was a time here in Jackson, Mississippi, and Skytel was the hub for the two-way pagers. For those of us that had two-way pagers in the day, it was a big deal to be in the entertainment industry and have a two-way pager. But all of those messages.
Motorola two-way pager.
There you go. All those pages and all those came through Jackson, Mississippi. Through Skytel, because Skytel was headquartered here. Bernie Ebbers is now in jail, of course, for whatever he was doing there at that point. But at any rate, somebody said that, while they were at Skytel, he always got messages over and over and over again, and they were not from his wife. They were from women. And that, he was a serial
R&B arrogance.
R&B arrogance. He's been getting away with looking like he looks his entire life, and he's been able to get away with fuckery like this because he feels like he looks good and he can sing.
Well,
you're a fan. You know what? We come on here every week, and week after week, people that you are a fan of are just involved in fuckery.
You know why? Because you look for stuff from people that I actually am a fan of to discuss.
No, I don't look for it.
Yes, you do.
They make the headlines.
You look for it. You look for it. And you also hate everybody I love.
That's ridiculous.
We don't share any of the same fandoms.
That is ridiculous. I like Jay-Z.
You like Jay-Z.
I think Jay-Z is dope.
We're on totally different levels when it comes to that.
I think he's one
you
of the
tolerate Jay-Z.
I think he's one of the greatest MCs of all time.
Well,
I've purchased his albums.
You don't act like it. You be like, well, that's I guess because if I play something,
your album, I hold you in high regard.
If I tell you to play something that we both like, you immediately go to Jay-Z
or T.I.
Or
and
T.I.
I like T.I.
Yeah,
T.I. fashions himself to be the Jay-Z of the South. I mean,
we just talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
That's clear. In his mind, that's what he feels that he is.
There's no argument against it.
He said
we're not going to start that again.
He said the only person that he would be in a versus with would be Jay-Z. That's what T.I. said.
That's audacious.
It's ostentatious. It's audacious. It's all of those things.
That's audacious. I mean, if you don't believe it, who else will?
Well, you got to believe in yourself.
He should start with Lil Wayne.
All of that notwithstanding, yes. Several people that you are fans of are just involved in just general fuckery. Just a general coating of fuckery that they're involved in.
Brian McKnight, but I wouldn't put him in the category of my super duper fanness like Jay-Z and T.I. But Jay-Z got some stuff going on now too, so I can't even argue that. The guy who says he wants the paternity.
The third kid that said that Jay-Z is his dad.
It's actually the same dude.
Is it?
Yeah, he been doing it for years. My problem is, Jay-Z, take the test. Why you won't take the test? Even if it is your child, at this point, whatever he give you, whatever you owe him, you can pay him. What's the problem? He's dodged the test for 20 years.
Yeah, you dodging that test, brother. Like it's real easy. I don't know. I did see that, and I kind of just glanced over it because it seems like Jay-Z has somebody challenging his paternity every 6 months. There's somebody that's saying that Jay-Z is their dad.
I don't know. I don't see it that much. I know this particular guy has done it before, and now he's taking it even further in the court system. So if I just can't see why Jay-Z wouldn't just take the paternity test.
Is he old enough to have been born after his marriage to Beyonce? Is that what the problem is?
I think he's older. So I think he came before Beyonce.
Yeah, take the test, man.
Take the test.
Take the test. You're rich. You're almost a billionaire.
You're rich. You could just buy the dude. I mean, if he want money, just take the test and give him.
Dude.
Not, you know what I mean. Yeah. I meant just pay him for the damages that you have caused him. Ain't nobody asking you. You ain't got to be in the dude's life at this point. But why are you so?
You should though.
He grown at this point.
He still should.
I mean, he should morally, yes. But why wouldn't you just take the test? Just take the test. Him not taking the test makes him seem like he's hiding from something. Speaking
of which, talking about being in their lives, getting back to what we were originally talking about. As a father, I just find this whole thing disgusting. It hurt my heart, actually. As you know, we have 3 grown kids, and that the relationships have not always been on solid footing. When your kids get grown, there's always going to be a level of conflict that exists. It's going to always be there.
You mean with the parent?
With the parents and the kids. And once the kids get grown, regardless, there's always going to be a little bit of conflict, and there's going to be some tension sometimes as the kids get grown and they start living their own lives for whatever reason, whether it's the reasons that Brian McKnight says, whether it's the reasons that, other people are estranged from parents because they feel like the parents weren't there. This happens a lot with these kids that are in these, the kids of, celebrities and stars, for people not being around. We've heard about this happening a lot. It's just disappointing to hear. It really makes me mad that he would do this publicly. I don't understand the concept of you having people in this world that you made, that have your DNA, that you were a part of making, that, your sperm created these beings and they're walking the planet, and you can speak so callously of them to the world.
Like they're not yours.
Yes,
like
they're
they
not yours.
Are not your offspring.
Yes.
Like they random people.
And here's the thing, and I want to be clear on this, and I hear Ricky Smiley talk about this all the time, and I disagree with him emphatically on this as well. We're the parents. We're the adults. I understand you saying, well, I'm not going to let my kids disrespect me. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to do this. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. You're not going to treat me any kind of way. I understand that, and I get it. That happens a whole lot. Sometimes there has to be some separation there if, things get out of hand. I understand it. But as a parent, to publicly denounce and dismiss kids that you have created, regardless of what that estrangement might be, to me, it's sickening to me, and it really hurt my heart. If your kids are being disrespectful to you, that's one thing, and that's cool, and I get it. But you're still the adult. No matter how grown your kids get, no matter how old they get, you never stop being a parent. You never stop being a parent, and regardless of how disrespectful your kids are, or how bad they are, or how much they take you through it, at the end of the day, as the parent, as the person that brought them into this world, you are still supposed to be that beacon and that foundation that's there, that's supposed to be, in some shape, form, or fashion, the adult in the equation. In my eyes. Now, you may disagree. But as a father, and the challenges that I had as a dad, before it clicked and before I understood and got to it and had the maturation to be able to do what I was supposed to do and take care of my responsibilities. You know, it's difficult to kind of see this man do this in public and double down and do it with the vitriol that I see him doing it and the level of petty that he's doing it. Even if he has a new family, and this happens a lot, and a lot of people are saying they've seen these instances, you know, a man gets this brand new family and he wants to try to dismiss the previous family. And sometimes he does it to please the new wife and the new family. I don't know if that's a particular case, but if you're a woman and you're married to a man and you see a man speak about his kids like this, does this not raise a red flag for you?
Sure. Absolutely. But I can't miss the opportunity to say here that we are actually watching what it looks like when unhealed trauma rules your life, when you operate in pain and hurt. Obviously, Brian McKnight has some healing to do himself, because he is unable to understand why his children are not offering him respect. That came from somewhere. He is the reason why that's not happening. It's not the kid's fault. So that needs to be worked out in order for him to not approach things in a petty, what looks like a petty manner to us. So it's very clear that he still has issues, and his idea of dealing with that is to just push it away and move on. You can't really do that when you're responsible for these people's lives. So those children are obviously traumatized by their father. Of course they are. But what he's not recognizing is that if you don't heal that hurt, whatever it is that prevents you from offering respect and receiving respect from your children, you're going to do the same thing again to the next legacy. Mm-hmm. So you got to heal that, bro. That's not going to just go away just because you compartmentalize how you feel and then say, I ain't fooling with them no more. Like, that don't go away. You just transfer it to whatever comes next. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say he's not petty or that it doesn't look petty or that he shouldn't have done this publicly. He should have. But what's more important is that he needs to seek to heal and restore whatever's broken, because the kids are the result of his brokenness. Mm-hmm. Now they're traumatized, and if they don't fix it, their children gonna be traumatized, and bam, here we go with generational curse.
And here's the thing, Brian McKnight is not as hot as he was at one time. Clearly not as busy as he was at one time. So he's going to give this new baby and these new kids the time that he was not able to give those older kids. And that's going to create a division at the end of the day, which is also unfortunate. Now, here's the thing as well. You can't take care of grown people forever. He says on his end that, he was paying for apartments, he was paying for living conditions, he was paying, for vehicles, he was paying for studio time, he was doing a lot of this, and these kids were not, wanting to, work and be self-sufficient.
Because you was throwing money at them. When were you ever there? When did you give time? When did you lend yourself to them when it wasn't money? You got to do more than spend money. And
you still got to understand at the end of the day, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can't keep doing this at the end of the day, but you're still the parent at the end of the day. If these kids are 50 years old, you're still the parent. And I still hold being a father and a mother I hold it to a higher regard and a higher standard.
Wait, let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You saying when they get 50, 60 years old that he's still responsible for taking care of their bills?
No, I'm not saying that. And that's a legitimate, as a father, that is a legitimate conversation, because we have those conversations as parents. The same thing. There is a point where you have to let these kids go ahead and be kids. We don't know for sure if they refused to actually do that, or if this was just some residual feelings that were left over from Brian McKnight not being there, and they felt like they deserved him to continue to bankroll what they were doing because he was not around. All of this stems from him not being around at the time. Maybe they feel like they were owed that because he was not in their lives a lot early on.
Or maybe he just was doing that because he felt guilty because he wasn't.
Yeah, I just think it was in poor taste for him to do this publicly. And it does not show him being the bigger person or the better person. It does not show him being the parent in this regard. And I think the most petty part of it is, you know, the new baby, naming the new baby Brian McKnight, and then declaring that, you know,
he is the one.
He is going to be the legacy. And you don't get to take that away. You already have a Brian McKnight Jr. That's your son, regardless of any of that. You know, changing your will, all of these things, you know, whatever happened in that first marriage, whatever happened with their moms, you don't get to just erase that. And again, that's just the arrogance and the narcissism of it all, to just feel like I can just erase, you know, an entire family and I can start back at one, to quote one of his songs.
Wow, that's good. I see what you did there.
Yeah. I got that from Twitter, by the way. It's a lot of good jabs on Twitter. It's full of comedians, so I was able to take that. But you just don't get to do that, man. Hopefully, I hope this is not an instance where something similar happens with this new family, or this man leaves this earth without reconciling with those kids. That would probably be the saddest
if he don't get to healing, whatever it is that's broken in him, whatever is causing him to operate this way, if he don't fix it, it's most definitely gonna happen again. Yeah. And reconciliation is unlikely.
Yeah. So speaking of, you know, kids, parents, those kind of things, let's talk about Jamie Foxx real quick. Another person that you are a fan of as a singer. You know, still the focal point of one of the best sitcoms of all time, The Jamie Foxx Show. You know, prayers and good energy out to him in this time of crisis with his family. But apparently, he has been doing a little bit better than folks have speculated. His daughter, you know, made a comment on social media over the past couple of days saying that her father was out of the hospital and that he was playing pickleball, as a matter of fact. And again, social media was in an uproar because they felt like they were sending prayers out, and they were sending all of this love to Jamie Foxx. And because Jamie Foxx did not fill them in personally on his physical condition, and there was not press conferences every 20 minutes updating them on what Jamie Foxx was doing, because people feel like they are owed some type of explanation for celebrities' lives. People were upset because they felt like we have been sending all of this love and energy out to Jamie, and he's at home playing pickleball with his daughter, which has not been proven, by the way, because there's no proof that they were playing pickleball. She just said that they were. But the arrogance, again, to use that word, of people to feel as if they should be involved in all of the moves and they should have a bird's eye seat to what is happening in the lives of celebrities when things happen to them, like Jamie Foxx.
Nah, if you come on here and ask us to give you prayers, see, that's a lot of people don't take that seriously. A lot of people come on and say, send some prayers, and that's just something they say. But some people, like me, actually send prayers and good vibes and my energy to Jamie to get well. Yes, of course, I want to hear how he doing. Yeah, I don't want you to just dismiss it and have us wondering what's going on with him. I'm invested. After I give my prayer and send my good energy to your becoming better, to recovering, yeah, I want to know how you doing. I don't want to know. I mean, I don't expect you to come on here, and I do respect privacy. But if you can come on here and say, send prayers, you can come on here and say, thank y'all for your prayers. Jamie is doing well. That's all you got to say. Ain't nobody asking you for no update every 2 or 3 days. Nobody's asking for that. And I do appreciate protecting his privacy. I find that absolutely respectful. But if you want us to stay out of it, don't print or say anything. Just go on, do your thing with your daddy. Leave it alone. Don't put it out there. Don't ask for no prayers. Don't do any of that. Leave it alone. And then we won't have no expectation. And we ain't praying every night, and we ain't lending our energy. People don't understand what that means. Because when they come on there and they just say, send a prayer out, they don't expect anybody to send them anyway. And if they do send them, it's not in an intentional prayer. When I pray for folks, it's intentional, and I use energy to be able to do that. So now don't be dismissive about what I'm sending out. Don't be dismissive about that because it's significant to me, and now I'm invested. Okay.
So on this end, on Kaz's end, it ain't y'all's business.
Well, don't put it out there. Don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing.
That's not how it works.
That's exactly how it works.
When Jamie Foxx went to the hospital, of course, somebody leaked it to TMZ that he was in the hospital. That was not the family. That was somebody that was inside the hospital that leaked that information. TMZ put it out to say, hey, Jamie Foxx had a medical emergency. He had a health incident. He is in the hospital. Okay? You got your news right there. Mm-hmm. There's the news. That's it. He's in the hospital.
Are you saying that
he had
nobody from
emergency.
His family ever asked for prayers?
We don't know. The daughter is saying that all of this talk about the family is preparing for the worst and the family is preparing for this, and this, that actually didn't come from the family.
Yeah. But there was the post that I saw that I contributed my prayers to did not come from, it was posted by the media, but it came from somebody close to him.
Maybe.
Can't remember who it was, but they said they had just seen him and that he was doing well. Prayers are being asked for, or something to that regard. It didn't come from the media. It came from somebody else that was a friend of his page.
Again, it was a friend. And it was a page. Kevin Hart said that, he went to see him, or Kevin Hart had some news. I saw him and he was doing an interview, and Kevin Hart said the same thing. Send your prayers out. Send your good energy. Once you know somebody is in the hospital, that's it. The rest of it is not your business. Send prayers, regardless of what their condition is. If he went to the hospital, if you go to the hospital for a broken ankle, you can ask for people to send you prayers. If you had a broken ankle, it does not have to be a medical emergency, or you don't have to be on the brink of death for you to be sent prayers. You send them prayers, okay? And you send your good energy, and then you go on about your day. It is not your business to be invested that hard to find out what's going on with Jamie Foxx. And then, ladies and gentlemen, to have the unmitigated gall to be upset because his daughter says that he's at home playing pickleball, okay? Nobody told you that, y'all heard from erroneous sources, which is another point that we've talked about on this podcast, that Jamie Foxx's family is preparing for the worst and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. Well, that wasn't even a credible source. Again, unfortunately, because it's social media, somebody absolutely made up a scenario, put it out there, and all of these blogs ran with it, and people were sharing this story where they're saying Jamie Foxx's family is asking for prayers, but they're preparing for the worst. That didn't even come from the family. It didn't come from an official source. Shame on all of you. It's not your business. He's at home now. And if he's at home and he's recovering and he's playing pickleball, what you should be is happy that it was not worse than it was, because it's not your business. It's not your business when a celebrity goes into the hospital. It's not your business what happens to them. When the official spokesperson tells you what happens, that is that at the end of the day. Okay? It's not your business. Regardless, you guys are too invested in the lives of celebrities. This man went to the hospital. He had an episode. He was back home with his family. Nobody from his family gave an official statement, but because social media is the way that it is now, you just made up some shit and put some shit out, and everybody took it and ran with it. Shame on all of you for that, and you should not be upset with Jamie being at home, recovering or convalescing or whatever the case is. You shouldn't be as invested, and that's Kaz's 2 cents on that. So what you got to say about that?
I don't think you have a connection to people that would warrant the feeling that I feel. That's what my 2 cents is, because
I sent prayers.
That's great. Mm-hmm. But I don't need to know his every whim.
But some people wanted to.
Pickleball. I don't care about that. But I would like to know that he is better. That would have been just a very good thing to do.
His daughter said he's better.
People are like... Anyway, I hope you're doing well, Jamie.
Mm-hmm. And play pickleball. Pickleball it away with your family and convalesce in the way that you're doing. And when you are prepared to make a statement and say something, then you make a statement and say something. And if Jamie does not make the statement out of his mouth or an official spokesperson, don't share it. Don't be stupid enough to share it because you have shared the prayers and the family is preparing for the worst. Some people were on Twitter saying RIP. some people were saying that Jamie was going to die. And some people said that he was dead. And some people said that Diddy was trying to kill him because Jamie Foxx exposed. It was all kinds of ridiculous shit that y'all was putting on the internet. It's just disgusting the way that it happened at the end of the day. That's really all I got to say about that. But pickleball of the way, Jamie Foxx, I hope you're well. And I hope that an official spokesperson lets you actually speak for yourself and you speak to the people and let people
know
what was happening.
Based on what you're saying, he don't need to.
He doesn't need to.
So what you hoping for that for?
He should do it when he's prepared and he's ready. You send him the prayers.
And that's what I'm saying. I would like to hear that he's doing well. That's all I'm saying. And I think that most people, that's what they're concerned.
So you're saying if you send someone prayers, you feel like it is your right to know what their condition is.
I didn't say it was my right. I said I would like to hear that he's doing well or not doing well. I would just like to hear where my prayers landed. That's just me personally.
You have to know
because I invest in my prayers. I'll just throw them out there.
You don't think they landed? You need to know where they land
I'd like to know where they landed. I'd like to know how he's doing. I'd like to know. That is my personal preference.
Do you think
if he doesn't feel like he wants to say something, that's fine. But I would like to know that he's doing well or that he's not doing well or whatever.
Do you think there's a chance when you pray? Do you think there's a chance that they don't land where you send them?
No, I don't personally.
There you go. They go where you think they go, right?
When you go to the store and you spend $200, do you need a receipt?
If I spend $200, yeah.
Okay.
Are you comparing those two things?
Yes.
A receipt to somebody? What?
Yes, I'm giving you an example of it. It's a receipt. Let me know. What's up? Do I have a right to it? I'm not saying that I have a right to it. I'm saying if I had my personal preference, if I could call Jamie and say, Jamie, how you doing? I would. But I can't.
So what you're saying is that when you pray for someone, regardless of who it is, you still feel like you would like to know.
Not regardless of who it is. Only because of the because he is a public image, because he is somebody who is a celebrity out in the public. That's the only reason why I would, if it was somebody that I pray for on a regular basis or somebody close to me, I wouldn't require that because I would be closer to the situation. So no, it's not the same thing. I mean, you don't feel like, you feel like celebrities don't owe fans anything?
I mean, when it's a personal matter, no. Like, did Jay-Z come out and say, I got slapped by Solange in the elevator when that happened? Do you feel like
no, he didn't have to. We saw the video.
Was there a video?
There was a video. She was kicking him in the video. In fact, I saw it the other day.
All right. Do you feel like he needed to make a statement
after that? What? We saw the video.
What if the video did not exist?
The point is that, for me, somebody asked me for these prayers. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z didn't come on there and say, y'all pray for me. Them two different things.
So if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, something is happening with me, pray for me, are you saying that you're going to question whether or not to pray for them?
Not if they're not a celebrity.
If they're not a celebrity, you're not going to question it.
No.
If they're a celebrity, you're going to question why they're asking you for prayers.
No, I'm not going to question that they asking me for prayers.
Yes, if somebody comes up to you and says, pray for me, do you need to know what you're praying for?
That's a touchy. It just depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Just depends.
Okay. I don't feel like that. I feel like if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, pray for me, you should just pray for them.
Okay.
I don't know. What do y'all think?
What if somebody's praying for you they just murdered a family and they tell you to pray for them so that they don't go to jail? You just going to pray for them?
Well, at that point, once the prayer leaves and it gets into the system, I would hope that IT does something to fix that. I don't know when it gets in there. I don't. I think it gets worked out once it gets in there. That's what I think.
All right.
Don't roll your eyes now.
You have every right to believe what you believe.
All right. Well, we just agree to disagree on that one. I'm just saying, folks is just a little bit too invested. And anyway, speaking of being invested, you got to talk about what's going on now. Jonathan Majors and Megan Good. You sent me that. And then I sent you the Janelle Monae. Did you see the video? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Janelle Monae is out here flashing everybody. She's showing off her breast, after years of being in the tailored, they call it the planner's man, what they call it, the guy that's on the cover of that's on the peanut jar. What's his name?
I don't know.
You eat those peanuts?
I don't
What's the
know
planner's
the name.
man? The planner's man in those suits. Megan Good is now dating Jonathan Majors, which is weird, but you want to talk a little bit about the whole phase, a little bit.
Why did you run those things together?
Because there has been some backlash for Janelle Monae for her being a lot more sexual in her videos.
She's been
and
sexual
songs.
since the beginning.
Yes, but people are now trying to make like this is a brand new thing, which is a point, by the way. You are correct. But now because she flashed people the other day, she showed off her tits
She's
the other day.
becoming more free, not becoming more sexual.
Okay. Yeah.
She's always been sexual. She's just more freely showing her sexuality.
So I'm kind of merging those two things because in a sense, they kind of go together when we're talking about
They don't go together at all.
the
But
whole
make
phase.
your point.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Okay, how do you feel like those are different?
What does Janelle Monae have to do with the whole phase?
Because Janelle Monae being more open and free with her sexuality, and Megan Good having just got divorced, both of them are being free in their
Wholeness.
Not wholeness, not in the wholeness, but they're being free. That's just they being free is what I'm saying. They being free. You get my point.
Not really, but go ahead.
I'm gonna show you how those two things tie together. So you sent me Jonathan Majors and Megan Good, and you said you wanted to talk about the whole phase, and we can talk about the whole phase because, well, yeah. Give me your thoughts on that. Do you think Megan Good is going through a whole phase right now? Is that what you think is happening right now?
No, I think Megan Good is attracted to trauma and drama. That's what I think is happening with her.
To date, Jonathan Majors just on the heels of what's been happening here lately. That's crazy.
She's attracted to drama and trauma.
So where'd you get whole phase from?
We talked about the whole phase before this even happened.
For
Just period.
so those two things weren't connected when
No,
you sent it to me.
they were not.
They were in the same text.
They were. But if you look, they were not.
Okay,
They
well
were
let's
spaced in between.
all right. So let's put that into the context of this conversation. We're going to bring all of that together
Okay.
because Megan Good just got out of a marriage. She got out of a marriage where she was married to someone who was a pastor. Was he? She got out of a marriage with someone who was a pastor. I guess in being a first lady, I guess that confines you a little bit in how free you can be. And now she's not married to him anymore. And now she's dating freely and may be dating several people before she decides to settle down again. A lot of people will call that the quote unquote whole phase.
We can't do that at this point, though, because this is the first guy that we know she's dating.
That we know of.
So that's not fair, not a fair assessment to put on her at this point. The reason why I wanted to even mention it is because for most people, Jonathan Majors is damaged goods right now. Like, why involve yourself with him? Why is he even dating anybody? I need you to be putting your attention on rectifying the situation you in, sir. And for Megan to be okay with it based on just coming out of her situation, it's just all messy. It's just messy to me. I don't think it really has anything to do with the whole phase. I think it's just bad timing and a horrible decision.
What do you think is happening with Janelle Monae now? What do you
I don't
is
think
happening
she's doing anything except living and being free and enjoying herself.
I agree in that regard, but
And she got some perky, pretty little titties. So show them things, girl. I mean, I ain't got no problem with it.
those are some nice titties.
Nice titties.
Those are some nice titties. People were turning on her. Like, it's really wild how that works.
Because people have an idea of who they want to make you be. And anything outside of what they feel like you are to them, then it upsets them.
You don't allow people to grow or change or do things different or pivot. Y'all wanted her to dress the same way that she's been dressing.
Well, she made such a profound statement and declaration about why she was doing it, and that she kind of locked herself in.
But she,
like, how if you're going to change, you need to address why you changing. You can't just come out and be, look, you are trying to act like celebrities are just regular old normal regular folks.
I mean,
like,
they are
not
at their core.
Yeah, but they ain't presented. You can't be that when it works for you and then try not to be when it doesn't. You can't say my life is everything, here I am, and then all of a sudden, no, you can't be involved in my life. That's just not humanly possible. We can't even rationalize that with our human brains.
But
we're just not able to do that.
You could do it.
Most people like me.
If I'm able to do it and you're able to do it, then a person that's a celebrity should be able to do it. All I'm saying is that she made the demonstrative statement that this is why I wear the uniform, right? She said, I wear the uniform because of my mother, my father, my stepfather. I do this to honor them. They have been honored. And now I'm moving on and doing something else.
Okay, tell us. Say it.
I'm flashing my titties.
Say it.
Does she have to say it, though?
Obviously she does. If she had said it, people could be on this journey with her and grow with her. I think that's the thing that happens. I think that's the reason why Jay-Z has been able to continue to grow all this time with us, and we grow with him. I think that's the reason why, is because he's always been very vocal about what he's been experiencing at every level of his life. And you don't get to pull us in and tug at our heartstrings and then say, nope, I don't want to tell you nothing else anymore. That's just not how the relationship between fans and celebrities work, if we're being honest. That's just not how it works.
That's crazy.
But that's the way it's set up. That's the way it's always been. It's not anything new. And it's worse now because of social media.
So, to make my point again, if Queen decides, and we have had these conversations on this podcast, conversations that we've had in the privacy of our own home about our evolution as people. Our evolution.
Well, A, I don't have thousands and millions of people following
matter,
me.
Though?
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. And B, I am vocal along the way. I am very open and forthcoming about my changes and who I am becoming. Like, you don't have to do that, but then don't get mad when people have an opinion about you not being who you used to be. Only because of who they are and their perception in life, yes. Do you owe them anything? No. But don't be surprised when you get that sort of response from them, because you have suddenly become somebody different than the person they fell in love with, the person that they bought into. They might not like who you are now. So they have the right to be able to do that. But if you share what you're going through, then you'll have your fans grow where you go.
So we had this conversation about Chloe, I think a couple of podcasts ago, with people who were giving her some backlash because her content was different than what her and Haley came into the game with. And we talked about that then, and we said, hey, she's growing up, she's getting older, and she's going through a maturation process as an artist. She has not come out and said, this is what I'm doing and this is what's happening. She's just been doing it. I really don't feel like these are still people. They're still regular people. They're still regular
Baby, they not regular everyday people. I'm sorry.
They are not regular everyday people. They're regular everyday people.
They don't sell themselves from the core. They do not sell themselves to us from the core. We don't know the core of these people. We don't know. We only know what they show and what they say. That's it. So if you're only showing, then you can expect to get responses that only go based on what you show. If you only telling, you can expect responses from only based on what you telling. These are not friends of ours. These are celebrities. So if you want to have the type of relationship with your fans where they understand who you are, then be forthcoming. And don't be one way 1 year and the next year you're something else, unless you take us with you on your journey. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry.
They're still people. I think that you are asking something of human beings that it's not fair to ask them of that.
Don't become a celebrity. If you're not ready for what this is, then don't become a celebrity.
I don't think it's a point of saying don't become a celebrity.
Based on what you're saying,
there is a level of...
You'll be able to change yourself easier and quicker than you can change the millions of people who are buying your records.
Okay, there is a level of responsibility that comes with being a celebrity at the end of the day, but these are still people. They're still
Who said
regular
they wasn't people?
They're still regular people.
And they're not regular people.
Again, at their core,
clearly they're not regular people.
They put their
clearly
pants,
they not.
I don't want to go to this adage, ladies and gentlemen, but they put their pants on one leg at a time like we do. They eat regular human food like we eat. They cry, they laugh, they have to go to sleep. They're regular human beings.
They're not.
Yes?
The fact that they have people hinging on their every word, waiting on their next album, going to bed at night, hitting them with their prayers, that makes them not regular people. They are celebrities.
They're celebrities based upon the level of popularity that they have for whatever the product is that they put out. That makes them a celebrity. And I guess maybe the revenue and the money that they bring in from doing that, but still at their core, they're regular people. Athletes are regular people.
If we lived in an ideal society where people did not judge people and where people recognized that, you know, you are an individual and your experience is your own, that'd be great. But if we speaking realistically, that's just not the society that we are a part of. We could change it, but it's going to take more than one person at a time to be able to do that.
We just have not been on the same page today at all.
Well, you wanted it.
I mean, it is what it is. We disagree a whole lot. This might be the first time that we have just disagreed on every point, except for Brian McKnight. I think we're pretty clear that he's a piece of trash across the board.
I don't think he's a piece of trash. I just think that he's broken.
Okay, well, I guess we disagree on that too. Because I think he's a piece of trash is what I think.
There could be an argument made for him acting a bit trashy.
Yes, acting trashy and being a piece of trash is two different things.
I'm not too far away from that. I won't even argue it.
Okay, well, we moderately agree on that front.
I'd like to see him get some help, basically.
There needs to be, I mean, maybe it's time to call in Iyanla for them. See how that works. They can
call Queen. I can help him.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't even know if he'd actually sit down for that conversation. I think he's too aloof. You're probably right. I think he's too aloof and too narcissistic to actually sit down at this point for whatever reason.
Megan can call Iyanla too.
I mean, I think Megan is finna get out here and get in these streets for a little while. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're married to a pastor and, you know, that hadn't been your life, it's very difficult to just pop up and be first lady.
I mean, yeah, there is something to be said for you have this kind of life, then you marry a pastor, and then
I don't even know how that dude
Who am I now?
I'm really trying to figure out how he was able to lock her down. Why are you looking at me like that?
Are you kidding?
Why, baby?
Have you seen him?
Okay, that's where we're going to. He looked so friggin' good that she couldn't help but to marry him. Is that what it is?
I mean, whatever.
Is that what you're thinking has happened?
I mean, I don't know if there's a whole lot of depth there for her. So,
I mean, he was a pastor. He's supposed
she
to be
was probably just wanting a commitment.
So you feel like she was just attracted to him, first of all?
Sure, she was attracted to him. Absolutely.
Enough to become a first lady, basically.
I'm sure that was much more. I think that she needed some grounding at the time that she met him.
I saw that coming, though, a mile away. I saw it coming.
Yeah, most of us.
If you're not growing
they
up,
actually lasted longer than I thought they would.
If you're growing up, you know, in a different, unless you're growing up in that church lifestyle, being a first lady is a very difficult thing. It's easier for someone to turn their life around and become a pastor than it is for someone who has not been in the church, a woman, to be a first lady. I think, in my eyes.
Listen, being a first lady is going to be hard, even if you have been in the church the whole time.
Yeah.
That's a hard gig.
There's a level of responsibility. So, in that sense, you know, I do want to table the whole phase conversation because I want to talk about our experience, and I think that deserves a little bit more time to do that because
that makes sense to me.
We had a breakup in between, so I want to talk about that whole phase thing. So we'll table that.
Yeah.
To the next.
My whole phase didn't actually come with our breakup. So
when did it come?
My whole phase came between my ex and you. That was my whole phase.
Yeah, okay.
After I got out of that abusive relationship.
We'll put a pin in that. We hope that all of the mothers out there, we hope that y'all had an amazing and fantastic Mother's Day. And hats off to all of the mothers out there, the young mothers, the old mothers, the stepmothers, the play mamas, the god moms, anyone out there that is a mother to a kid in any shape, form, or fashion. Hope you enjoyed your day, and we're getting ready for Father's Day coming up really, really soon. But we want you guys to continue to stay tuned in to According to Kaz Queen. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page and make sure that you keep checking us out on all streaming services. If you did not get a chance to, go check out the Jar podcast because Kaz and Queen had the opportunity of interviewing with Ken Stearns on there as well, and they're up on YouTube. And if you go to our social media pages, you'll be able to see the links of a very good conversation that we had with him about a myriad of topics. So make sure you go and check that out, man. We're trying to get out here and, touch the world with our experiences. All right. So on that note, this is Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And this is According to Kaz Queen. All right. Peace.